Can you explain the strict lockstep compensation that firms are getting rid of? And why are they getting rid of it? And what are the major compensation models? Okay, so lockstep traditionally was used by a lot of big older firms and older law firms in the United States. It's almost from a different time. It's also used by a lot of the big English firms and so forth. Lockstep means that partner first year makes this much, makes maybe 0.05% of the profit. Let's just make it easy, 1% of the profit. And then second year, partner fifth year, 1.5, partner 30, and then up until 30. The idea is as you get more senior, your compensation increases. And in the oldest firms, it did not matter how much business you have. You're compensated as you get older based on lockstep, meaning everything just increases as you get more senior. A 10th year partner is going to make a lot more than a first year, even if a first year partner with $20 million in business and a 30-year partner with zero business, 30-year partner is still going to make 3 times more than the first year partner, regardless of the business. This was when the law firms were more congenial. People stayed with them their whole careers, more loyalty and all that sort of stuff. And that was just how it worked. The longer you practice, the more money you could plan on making. And in your compensation, you made a lot more later in your career. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, people could do very well under that if they didn't have business with shared with everyone. That was supposedly a good model. Now, the non-lockstep, which is pretty much what everyone does, what happened is in the 1980s, starting in the early to mid 1980s, compensation experts, consultants from Anderson, whoever, consulting companies came in and they said, this is crazy. You can't do this anymore. There started a lot of lateral movement, partners to new firms. What had happened at that time is you started getting firms in New York opening branch all around the country. In the 1980s, you started getting consultants. So there started to be a lot of lateral movement. So firms are opening branch offices in New York and LA. Everyone thought Japan was going to take over the world and needed to be close on the West Coast. All this stuff started happening in the mid 1980s and loyalty to firms began decreasing. The portable business became the main compensation mechanism. The more clients you had, the more you were in business, the more you were compensated. And that became everyone out for themselves. That's what lockstep is. And so the problem that's been happening is at firms like Bath and Davis Polk and all these other firms, it used to be unthinkable that one of those partners would leave because they were lockstep. And as they got more senior, they would get more money. So even if they were to take clients or didn't have clients, there's no way they would make more money in a new firm. This is how things worked for a long time. And that's what lockstep compensation was all about. But then what's happened recently is all those firms where people you'd never think of them leaving, now they are leaving if they have business because they can accelerate their careers, make a lot more money working in firms right now. That's what's happening. A lot of these big New York firms and English firms that are trying to expand realize that they can't grow with non-lockstep compensation. So they are moving into what's commonly called UKIL model. And so that's how things are working now. Now, different types of models under a lot of firms will also they'll have what are called capital or shareholder partners, and then they'll have income partners. Income partners are basically that salary, then shareholder partners get a percentage of the business they bring. So that's how it works now. It's just something to think about in terms of how things work. And this is the way things work. The larger firms under the lockstep are moving away from it. And the main compensation now is the non-lockstep, which is what you kill. Firms will have different ways of distribute profits to the people based on that. Some will give them only a percentage of their business. Some will give them a percentage of the whole firm. Different firms have different models. And it's how this model works that makes people either stay or leave. Typically what will happen is someone who's a capital or shareholder partner will feel like they're not getting enough profits or enough money, and someone will be able to lure them to another firm. That's mainly why people will do that. And one of the things that's nice about this non-lockstep model now is it does make it, because it's all about business, it makes everything wide open. You can suddenly get major clients and so forth and move from a very small firm to a huge firm. I've seen it happen lots of times once you get business.